Hi, this is Dr. Mark Sehl of the channel YouTube Therapy for the Heart. This is a follow-up of the first video that I made up of the article in the New York Times magazine section a few weeks ago, What Brand is Your Therapist? Many therapists struggle, as the article pointed out, with trying to build their practice. It seems like being a psychotherapist or a psychoanalyst is not enough to attract attention, particularly in perhaps the new age population that we have. But there were some suggestions that this article made in terms of what therapists could do to cope with the diminishing practice that they were experiencing. It's a very big blow to the ego to have that happen when you're a good therapist and you want to survive, and there's so much competition, so many therapists. So some of the things that this person was suggesting was have a specialty, change the way you identify yourself. Instead of being a psychotherapist, have another kind of identity, maybe as a life coach. That's very popular. One of the identities that someone was written about in the article was her specialty was working with children who were very involved with videos and how to help those children and the parents cope with that. Another recommendation was wear a name tag. Instead of putting on the name tag your discipline, psychotherapist or psychologist, she said write on it happiness locator. I like that. I mean, I didn't like it in the beginning because I think that so much of this is gimmicky in a way, but I think if things work, then so what? I mean, that's what we're interested in, is try to find new ways and creative ways of getting out there. So I did that. I put happiness locator under my name tag at a CMPS conference, and I was a little apprehensive about doing it. I like attention, but also I guess I felt, well, this is silly, but I wanted to do it anyway because I am a gutsy person, as sometimes timid as I may be, more the adventurer and wanting to take some risks. So I did it, and it was very effective. Different people came up and asked me, what does that mean? So it gave me an opportunity to refer to the video that I made about this and give my card out, and also talk to people and get to know them, and some people that I haven't met before. So that was very successful. Then after that success, I went to a conference last Friday sponsored by the Contemporary Freudian Society, and the title of the conference was Vicarious Traumatization, Resilience and Transformation. I decided to bring my badge from the last conference and I kept it for that reason. It was all nice and intact. So then I had this idea, well, would I be the only person wearing a name tag there, because often they don't give name tags out, and if I was the only person, how would that be for me? So again, it's a little gutsy thing to do, but again, I like that. I like doing these things that are a little different. So, I mean, my psychotherapy videos they're not the only psychotherapy videos out there, but they're a little different. Not that many people do them. So I had a little apprehension about that, and Kirsty, who is part of NAAP in the advertising, said, people might swerve out of your way rather than coming towards you. So I thought about that. It could happen. But underneath the name tag was, of course, happiness locator, and this time I underlined it in bright orange to draw more attention, as if just wearing my badge alone wasn't enough attention. But I know color is very effective, because when I used to advertise my office for rent, I used to put it on a bulletin board, and among the hundreds of other ads on the bulletin board, if I put a red line on the little card that I had, it would draw attention to your eye. Your eye would go right to that because of the color. So no one had name tags at the conference. They weren't doing that. So, and nobody threw me out. I guess that was my projection. I didn't really think that was going to happen, but So Vivian, who was leading Dr. Vivian Eskin, who was leading the meeting and introducing the speaker, came over to me and she said, "Oh, I know where your happiness locator is." She said, "It's right there." And she pointed to my heart. That was cool. A few other people came over. Dr. Marty Zlatchin, and she introduced herself, and it was interesting in that she had a specialty of her own, working with somatizers, and I was happy to exchange information with her. And there was another woman that came over, and her name was Margaret, and I first met her at the CMPS screening of the film Bill W., and it was very nice to see her. She was very welcoming and nice person. So, and with her, there was her friend Golzar. And Golzar was also, I'm not sure if she was a student there or not, but in any case, I talked to her for a while, and not too long actually, but I took her card. And she has a website, which I later Googled, and it's a very interesting website called The Tip of Feminism. Very interesting site, and the link you can find on my links page at marksehl.com. Also, there is a link to Dr. Marty Zlatchin. I'm not going to pronounce that name, and that's okay. And I'll see her again, and she'll refresh my memory. But I put her email on also the links page, or I will put it on. And this is one way to support people who are also trying to get themselves out there and to get some attention to what they do. That's an interesting specialty that she has, working with somatizers. And there was another modern psychoanalyst that I met. I didn't meet there, but I've seen him around at the NA. I liked him very much at the NAAP conferences. Very familiar face, but I can't remember his name. And then there was Dr. Laurie Perlman. She was a speaker, and she has a book out there called Trauma and the Therapists. I'll give a little quote under the blurb on Amazon.com about this book. Quote, "Trauma and the Therapist explores the role and experience of the therapist in the therapeutic relationship by examining countertransference, the therapist's response to the client, and vicarious traumatization, the therapist's response to the stories of abuse told by client after client." End of quote. Her presentation was wonderful. She has such a wonderful way of being with people, making them feel relaxed, eliciting their comments and questions. So it makes for a very back and forth exchange rather than having somebody lecture. So she was very, very engaging, a really good group worker. And I felt I added a contribution to the talk also. I gave a brief summary of modern psychoanalysis, which I tend to do if I'm asked, or even if I'm not asked sometimes, because I'd like to get the word out. Many people don't know. It's like you have horns on your head when you say you're a modern psychoanalyst, because sometimes it has a reputation of provoking patients, which is the last thing that modern analyst does. It's such a myth. But in any case, I'd like to talk about. I did talk about it once at the Metropolitan Center for Mental Health, and I was met with two different reactions. The kind of the old guard was there saying, "Well, what is new about modern psychoanalysis?" And I said, "Oh, that's an interesting reaction." So then at the end of the meeting, I asked the people if they felt that this was old hat, into what I was talking about the techniques of modern psychoanalysis. And several, or more than several people came up at the end, and they said, "We're not being taught this here." So there you go. Once people get to know it, and I've had people on the videos remark that they really like the idea of modern psychoanalysis because you such a hands-on way of working in terms of technique and working with people. And one actually went out and bought the Red Book, which was very, I felt like it was, my mission was being somewhat accomplished there. So, And in summary, I pointed out the importance and awareness of countertransference from a modern analytic perspective, particularly in regard to helping people move the negative introjects in the ego out to the object world, and also in regard to the importance of recognizing the traumatized therapists who often have a lot of repressed feelings, particularly sometimes hate. They feel that they're guilty about hating their patients, and they need to be able to help their patients express the rage they've experienced at the hands of their abusers, which in this day and age, there's so much emphasis on forgiveness, you know, and much more important to be able to say your real feelings about the trauma that you've received at the hands of whoever, and the rage associated with it and the damage associated with it. That's very important in the healing process. And how you do that is really a skill, particularly of modern analysts focus on. And when I said move the interjects, I'm a piece of shit, I'm no good, I'm worthless, out into the object world. And you really are going to become the object world. You are the object world. From the beginning you aren't, because it's really, you don't exist as a separate object. But gradually, as you do become more separate, but you're still going to be in the narcissistic transference. But to help somebody release their feelings and provide the atmosphere and the holding environment to be able to do that, but also joins and syntonic joins and dystonic joins to help that person do that thing, moving the interjects out. And that person has a chance to not experience themselves and not be self-hateful. That's the beauty of modern psychoanalysis, and that's from my perspective. So the happiness locator worked, and I might try it again. Maybe some people will find other names and other things to write on their badges and name tags, but it was fun for me, and I think you can tell by the expression on my face, I enjoyed it, and I think other people enjoyed it too, and they got their names up on my website, and their names are being mentioned, and I get some attention too. So everybody wins, and the conference was lovely, and I got to meet Dr. Laurie Perlman, who is a wonderful person. So I'm also going to send her one of my videos, so that'll be cool. So thank you for listening, and this is Dr. Mark Sehl of the YouTube channel, Therapy for the Heart. And if you like the channel, that would be great. You can open up a YouTube channel by having a Gmail account. It's very easy to do. You don't have to have any videos, and then you can get the videos uploaded automatically when I do them. And if not, you can just always put Mark Sehl in the browser on YouTube, and the videos will come up. So thanks again, and I'm going to say good night, and enjoy your week, and I'll be speaking to you soon. All right, bye.